They already tried. The ones who said you'd never amount to anything. The ones who watched you fall and felt relief. The ones who smiled at your face while quietly hoping you'd stay exactly where you were. Small, contained, predictable. They tried to hold you back, and for a while it worked. Not because they were powerful, but because you believed them. You absorbed their doubt like a sponge absorbs poison. You carried their fear as if it were your own. You dimmed yourself so they wouldn't feel threatened by your light. But here's what they didn't count on. You're still here, still breathing, still watching, still burning somewhere beneath the surface. And that fire, the one they tried to extinguish, it didn't die. It just went underground. It learned to survive in darkness. It became something they can no longer recognize, something they can no longer control. Robert Greene understood this fire. He spent his life studying power, not the loud kind that announces itself, but the quiet kind that moves through shadows. He watched men rise and fall. He observed how empires crumbled not from external force but from internal weakness, and buried within his writings is a code, a psychological architecture for becoming untouchable, not cold, not cruel, untouchable. The kind of person who can be insulted without flinching, rejected without crumbling, betrayed without losing direction. This is not about revenge. This is not about becoming heartless. This is about understanding a truth so uncomfortable that most people spend their entire lives running from it. The people who hurt you never had the power to break you. You gave them that power, and tonight you're taking it back. But before we go further, understand this. What you're about to hear will not comfort you. It will confront you. It will ask questions you've been avoiding. It will expose patterns you've been protecting. And by the end, you'll either walk away unchanged or you'll never be the same again. Let's begin. Here's the brutal truth nobody wants to say out loud. Most people are prisoners. Not to circumstance, not to environment, not even to the people who wronged them. They are prisoners to a version of themselves that was never real to begin with. They built their identity around the expectations of others. They shaped their dreams according to what seemed acceptable. They silenced their truest impulses because someone once told them those impulses were dangerous, wrong, too much. And now they walk through life wearing invisible chains, wondering why they feel so heavy. Robert Greene saw this with terrifying clarity. He wrote extensively about how men become enslaved not by tyrants, but by their own need for approval. He understood that the most dangerous form of control isn't violence, it's dependency. When you depend on someone's opinion to feel worthy, they own you. When you need validation to take action, you've already surrendered. When you shape your choices around avoiding disapproval, you are no longer free. And the cruelest part, the people holding your chains often don't even know they're doing it. They're just living their own unconscious patterns, projecting their fears onto you, and you absorbed it all because you were young, because you trusted, because you didn't know any better. But you're not young anymore. And now you know. The question is, what will you do with that knowledge? Robert Greene once wrote that a man who wishes to act entirely with virtue will be destroyed among so many who are not virtuous. This is not a call to abandon morality. It is a warning, a wake-up call. It means that if you wait for the world to be fair before you start moving, you will wait forever. The world is not fair. People will try to hold you back, not because they are evil, but because your growth threatens their stagnation. Your courage exposes their cowardice. Your rising reminds them of their own excuses. And so they will say things like, "Be realistic. Don't get your hopes up. Who do you think you are?" They will disguise their fear as wisdom. They will call their limitations love. But here is what they don't understand. You are not asking for permission anymore. Let me ask you something. How many times have you been knocked down? How many failures have you tasted? How many nights did you lie awake wondering if you would ever find your footing again? And yet here you are, still standing, still searching, still refusing to accept that this is all there is. Do you understand what that means? It means you are unbreakable. Not because you don't feel pain, but because pain hasn't stopped you. It means every attack, every rejection, every betrayal was supposed to end you. And it didn't. They couldn't break you. Not because you're made of stone, but because somewhere deep inside, there's a part of you that refuses to quit. A part that keeps whispering, "Not yet." A part that knows with irrational certainty that your story isn't over. Robert Greene called this quality virtue. Not virtue in the moral sense, but an inner force. A combination of will, adaptability, and relentless forward motion. It's the quality that separates those who shape their destiny from those who are shaped by circumstance. And here's what most people miss. Virtue is not something you either have or don't have. It's something you build. Every time you get up after being knocked down, you're building it. Every time you choose action over self-pity, you're building it. Every time you refuse to let someone else's opinion define your worth, you're building it. The attacks were never meant to destroy you. They were meant to reveal you. Every wound you carry is evidence that you survived something. Every scar is proof that you chose to keep going when staying down would have been easier. You think your pain makes you weak. Your pain is your power. It taught you things that comfort never could. It carved depth into your character that safety would have left shallow. It gave you a knowledge that only comes from walking through fire. The people who tried to break you had no idea what they were creating. They thought they were crushing you. They were forging you. And now you're ready to understand something Robert Greene understood. The same force that tried to destroy you is the same force that made you dangerous. Not dangerous in the violent sense. Dangerous because you can no longer be controlled by fear. Now we arrive at the center. The code that Robert Greene embedded in his work. The psychological architecture that makes a person unstoppable. It's not a list of tactics. It's a shift in consciousness. A rewiring of how you see yourself in relation to the world. And it begins with one uncomfortable truth. You are alone, not in the emotional sense, not in the isolated sense, but in the strategic sense. No one is coming to save you. No one will hand you your purpose. No one will fight your battles while you watch from the sidelines. This is not pessimism. This is liberation. Because the moment you stop waiting for rescue, you start becoming the rescue. The moment you accept that your life is your responsibility, you reclaim every ounce of power you've been leaking to others. Robert Greene wrote that he who builds on the people builds on mud. He wasn't saying people are worthless. He was saying that if your foundation is external approval, it will crumble under the first real pressure. Your foundation must be internal. Your sense of worth, your direction, your reason for getting up in the morning, these cannot be borrowed. They must be owned completely, unapologetically. The second part of the code is this. Emotions are data, not commands. Most people are ruled by what they feel. They feel fear, so they retreat. They feel anger, so they explode. They feel doubt, so they freeze. But Robert Greene understood something different. Emotions are signals. They tell you what's happening beneath the surface, but they are not orders. You are not obligated to obey them. The untouchable mind feels everything but is controlled by nothing. It observes fear without running. It notices anger without reacting. It registers doubt without surrendering. This is not suppression. This is mastery. You don't become cold. You become free. Free to choose your response instead of being hijacked by your reactions. And here's the third element of the code. Perhaps the most dangerous. You must learn to wear masks, not to deceive, but to survive. Robert Greene knew that the world does not reward transparency. It rewards strategy. The person who reveals everything becomes a target. The person who holds something back becomes intriguing, powerful, unpredictable. This doesn't mean becoming fake. It means becoming selective. You don't owe everyone access to your inner world. You don't need to prove yourself to people who haven't earned your truth. You can be warm without being exposed. You can be kind without being naive. The mask is not a lie. It's protection. It's the understanding that not everyone deserves to see the full depth of who you are. And when you master this, something remarkable happens. People stop being able to use your openness against you. They stop finding weak points to exploit. They start sensing that there's something different about you, something they can't quite manipulate. That's when the power shifts. Here's what nobody will tell you about being unstoppable. It's not about speed. It's not about intensity. It's not about forcing your way through every obstacle with brute willpower. It's about inevitability. The unstoppable person moves like water. When blocked, they don't crash against the wall. They find another way. They go around. They go under. They wait until the wall crumbles, but they never stop moving toward their destination. Robert Greene observed this in the leaders who survived when others fell. They weren't the strongest. They weren't the loudest. They were the most adaptable, the most patient, the most willing to change tactics without changing targets. Fortune favors the prepared mind. But what that really means is this. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can control how prepared you are when it does. Most people try to predict the future. The Robert Greene mindset prepares for multiple futures. It builds contingencies. It develops skills that work in chaos. It cultivates a flexibility that makes it dangerous in any environment. You cannot stop water. You can only redirect it temporarily. And eventually it finds its way. That's what you're becoming. Not a force that breaks through walls, but a force that outlasts them. And here's the psychological shift that makes this possible. You must detach from the timeline. Most people give up not because the goal is impossible, but because it's taking too long. They have an internal clock that says, if it hasn't happened by now, it's not going to happen. That clock is a lie. The timeline was never real. It was just something you absorbed from a world obsessed with speed. But depth takes time. Transformation takes time. Becoming who you're meant to be takes longer than becoming who they wanted you to be. Robert Greene didn't create his most powerful ideas early. They came after struggle, after observation, after being tested by reality itself. Your greatest work might come from your darkest season. Your real impact might begin when everything seems to have ended, but only if you refuse to be stopped. Not by failure, not by time, not by the voices that say you should have made it by now. You are not behind. You are in formation. Now, let's bring this into the real. How do you actually live this? How do you take Robert Greene's hidden code and apply it to your daily existence? First, you audit your dependencies. Write down every person, every outcome, every external condition you believe you need in order to feel okay. That's your list of chains. That's where your power is leaking. Now ask yourself, what would happen if I lost this? Not to be morbid, but to prepare, to detach your survival from anything outside your control. The person who needs nothing external to feel whole is the person who cannot be threatened. Second, you train your response time. Every time something triggers you, notice the gap, the space between stimulus and response. At first, that gap will be invisible. You'll react before you even realize you had a choice. But with practice, that gap widens. And inside that gap is your power. The power to choose silence instead of explosion, observation instead of assumption, strategy instead of survival mode. Third, you practice strategic invisibility. Stop announcing your moves. Stop explaining your process. Stop proving your worth to people who haven't asked. Let your results speak. Let your silence confuse those who expected your noise. Let your absence create more presence than your presence ever did. The world is addicted to visibility, but the most powerful moves happen off stage, in the quiet hours, in the unseen discipline, in the choices no one applauds. Fourth, you build your inner council. Not just people, though yes. You need a few who sharpen you, but also voices. Thinkers who lived before you and left maps behind. Robert Greene is one, but there are others. Marcus Aurelius on discipline, Carl Jung on shadow. These are not just books, they are mirrors. They show you parts of yourself you've been avoiding. Build a relationship with them. Return to them when you're weak. Let their words recalibrate your mind when the world tries to bend it. And fifth, the most important one, commit to the long game. Not the applause, not the shortcut, not the viral moment. The long, slow, invisible construction of something that cannot be shaken. Something that doesn't need external validation, because it was built on internal truth. This is the Robert Greene path. Not domination, not cruelty, sovereignty, the complete ownership of your own mind, your own direction, your own fire. So here you are, at the end of this, but really at the beginning. You've heard the code, you've seen the pattern. Now the only question that remains is this: will you use it? Because knowledge without application is just entertainment. You can watch this, feel something, and go back to the same patterns by tomorrow morning. Or you can decide right now that something has shifted. That the person who walked into this is not the same person walking out. They couldn't hold you back because you're no longer standing still. They couldn't break you because you've already put yourself back together, stronger, wiser, quieter. They cannot stop you because you've stopped asking for permission. The code isn't complicated. Own yourself. Master your reactions. Move in silence. Prepare for everything. Attached to nothing. That's it. That's the architecture of the untouchable. Robert Greene understood it. And now so do you. The question is what you'll do with the next 500 days. Will you build, or will you return to the chains? If something in this awakened you, leave 2 words in the comments. I'm unbreakable. Not for me, for you, to mark this moment. And if you're not ready to say that yet, that's okay too. Just remember this. The fire is still there. It never left. It was just waiting for you to stop apologizing for its heat. Now burn. If you are still here, you are not like the others. Subscribe if you haven't.